All right, everyone, we should be live. Let's talk about today's news. Let's make sure that we're live on Rumble. Of course, we have to unpause and repause it. Yes, indeed. Monkey Grab Orange. I have a bet on how many people die on Saturday. Hopefully, I'm off by hundreds. We're not sure which direction you're hoping that you're off on, so we'll just leave it at that. We've got a lot of news to talk about today. First and foremost, Hamas has returned the hostages to Israel, but there appears to be a little bit of a snafu because some of the hostages are predictably buried under rubble, and they don't have the equipment to actually get them out. This isn't really a funny story or anything like that, but I mean, it was predictable. It was something that I had talked about days ago. The problem is that some of these people have been crushed under collapsing buildings and shit like that. It's going to be a little bit difficult to extract them. And I would urge the Israelis to be a little bit patient with regards to that. The hope is that the bodies are eventually repatriated, but it might take a little bit of time. Trump administration withholds $40 million from California over trucker English proficiency rules. Yes, in California, you do not need to speak English in order to drive a truck. Now, I'd think that because the road signs are in English, that would kind of be necessary. Apparently, California did not get the memo. Gun crime rates fall as agents shift to immigration crackdown. Interesting. When you stop trying to police people for simply owning a firearm, gun crime rates go down. Very, very interesting. We'll talk about SpaceX briefly as well. There's a bunch of other stuff that we need to talk about. That one I do not need actually open. RCP has some good stuff. We might go through some of that. We've got pro-Hamas messages broadcast at 2 North American airports following apparent cyber breaches. Yeah, there was effectively a cyber terrorism attack here. It's really, really funny. Let's take our pills, shall we? Because we have to do this every day. We've got our mushroom pills from Cultivated Mind, cultivated-mind.com, of course. Among other things. Didn't take one actually in the morning. I forgot to do that, so, I felt I was doing something bad. We've got the ceasefire deal continuing. The problem is, though, that, again, Israel currently is upset at the fact that Hamas cannot deliver all of the remains. It's going to be difficult to actually deliver them because they've been pretty much crushed. At this point, they've probably been macerated to the point and rotted to the point where they're basically unrecoverable. I don't think that this should be a major issue. I'm hoping they can smooth things over, but you never quite know. Then there was the Pope, the Catholic Pope, laughing about the Cubs, I guess, or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. We'll go through that story anyway because it's funny. They are definitely trying to personalize the Pope the same that they did with Francis. Sawbox, morning, fuckers. Wasted Bonehead, good spooky morning, clankers. Yeah, this is your time of year because it's almost Halloween. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's a lot of news to cover today. There's not actually enough time to cover it all. I've got a shit ton that I've got to do this afternoon. Most of it not even work related. I've got some electronic shit that I've got to deal with, some mechanical shit that I've got to deal with. And so I'm probably not going to be on actually as long as I normally am. Just saying, this might be a shorter live stream. But yeah, Wasted Bonehead is here. I'm sure that he'll get into it with Sigil Stone at any given time. CP Simple, Sticks, he said AOC was in her 40s in a video earlier. She's younger than you. She doesn't look it, just saying. Wouldn't tap that. No, thank you. No, there are plenty of people out there that I would tap within politics. For instance, Luna. Yeah, baby. AOC, I don't want AIDS, so that would be a little bit of a sticking point. Not interested, man. Barack Obama, electronic dog collars. Yeah, the Hassan Piker story. Absolutely. No, I would not bang AOC. I know that there are some people that are thirsty for her. Not interested. Representative Luna, on the meantime? Yeah, absolutely. Just saying. Wasted bonehead. It's my day, actually. I went viral on Twitter. 1 million views and counting. Good on you. Make sure to DM me the link. Yeah, I'll help shout it out too. Kaiju Cat Media. Morning, Sticks. What are your thoughts on the Virginia race? I have a theory with regards to that race. Before we get into the news and the sponsors, I have a theory. I think that the AG race has become a shit show, and the fact that the Democrats are taking so much attrition with regards to the AG race is bleeding over in the gubernatorial one. I don't know that the Republicans are actually going to gain the gubernatorial slot, but it's a lot closer than it was. The gap is definitely closed. And there's only really one reason that I can think of for that, which is the AG race, where, what's his name, John there, yeah, he comes out, and it gets, put out there, and the legacy media, even the legacy media couldn't shield him from this, basically wishing that his opponent had his children killed, and that they would literally die in their mother's arms. This is an actual quote from what he posted. That's not a good look. And so I think that that's causing damage, up ballot actually, to the gubernatorial race. That's what I believe is happening at this particular moment. Last week, and I'm pretty much done with this month. Oh, King of Biltong is there. I do not have the Bovrite on hand at the moment, so we'll have to use Vegemite. And that's because last night I made a delicious stir fry. Oh, it was great, and I used Bovrite in it. Bovrite is excellent as a base for a stir fry, along with some soy sauce and, whatever herbs and spices you intend to use. And I had broccoli, water chestnuts, and it was delicious, by the way. Today it's going to get adulterated with chicken and a little bit more, actually, of the sauce. Came out amazing. Little bit of scallions on top. Some of you call them spring onions. But yeah, let's get to the sponsors first, since Anton has showed up. We have cultivated-mind.com, where you can get mushroom pills, which I just took just now. In fact, this one... Oh, there's one left in there. Okay, well then I'll have to eat that tomorrow. You can get mushroom pills. We've got the doggo treats. They are very, very good smelling, so I'm assuming that the doggos will enjoy them. I know that the doggo that I gave them to definitely did. So Cultivated Mind has all of your shroom needs. These are not the psychoactive type, though. These are the medicinal type. We've got BiltongUSA.com. Anton, just joining us, of course. He can get you imports. He can get you meat of various kinds. Wagyu, Angus, Cabanassi, basically anything. Venison, bison. That's a lot of animals that died to make you happy. And they are delicious, by the way. Also, Stick, Sex, and Hammer mugs, tumblers, and shirts are available as well. And finally, jamandbean.com. That is jamnbean.com. Where we have Clanker coffee. You need to get some. It smells really good. I'm just saying, there's a reason that I chose that particular blend out of the 3 that I was optioned, because this one is clearly superior to the other 2. The other 2 are fine. It's just this one was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You can also get some good teas as well. Get some right over here, in fact, I think. Yeah, Virtue's Cup and green chai. I am not myself a chai fan. Some people, though, they are obsessed with it. If you like chai, you're going to like going to Jam and Bean. I prefer the black teas for the most part. Sigil, I have critical, urgent, breaking news. I just farted. Thank you for your attention to this matter. You trying to Trump post my man? And then he posted it twice. Hey, I mean, if you're paying me, I don't care what you post. Kurt Ison, love cannabis indica. I'm more of a sativa fan myself. Gotta get some Durban poison in there. Anton knows what I'm talking about. Hamas says it has returned all hostage remains it can recover. Here's the problem. The problem is exactly what I myself and some of you actually were talking about at the time, which is if you've got hostages in Gaza, but then the Israelis bomb everything into a pile of cinders, some of those remains are probably just smoldering in the wreckage, and they can't really be recovered. Israel is angry at the moment that they can't get those bodies recovered. But the thing is, there's no way to recover them. They don't even have the equipment to actually extract them from the wreckage. So, I mean, I would urge just basically wait, and hopefully the repatriation of remains happens. I don't think that Hamas is going to hold that over the head of the Israelis or do anything like that because they know they'll get bombed. So I have a feeling they'll probably try to dig them out. I mean, I don't know what state of repair they're going to be in. It's probably not a good one, just saying. But in the end, I think that they will be repatriated, and that's our hope, of course. Because, yeah, enough of the fucking war and stuff like that. Wasted. My news is more critical than sigils. I'm about to let a log slide. Any whore gullets around? Oh god, you're Andy Six posting again. Yeah. I would give Hamas a little bit of time. Give them a week or something like that. By then, they should probably have been able to dig them out. And again, the problem is when you get 10 foot of debris on top of somebody, that's going to take more than people just lifting it by hand. It's going to take a little bit more effort than that. And it was predictable. I mean, everyone knew that that was going to happen. Sigil. Federal judge rules Trump has no authority to negotiate peace in Gaza. Orders all hostages returned to Hamas. And any double posts are unintentional. Rumble being fucky. I don't think that that happened, my friend. I think that you're trolling me. But at this point, honestly, I hate to say it, it wouldn't really surprise me if a federal court ordered such a thing. Ah, tarred and feathered. Leprechaun in the Hood was great. The drag scene was unnecessary, but whatever. Yeah, it was one of the funniest movies that I've ever seen, actually. I was very, very happy. Yeah, like 99% of you have never seen it. Look up Leprechaun in the Hood. It's a takeoff of the Leprechaun movies, which initially were very, they were horror-based. But then they realized that the funny aspect of it was more popular than the horror aspect of it. And so they did sort of what the Jason franchise did around 4 and 5, which is they said, fuck it, we're not going to take it seriously at all. We've created a horror franchise, but we're just going to make it funny. And it became a comedy. And so you've got this like little leprechaun dude like smoking weed the entire time. It's a very, very good movie, let me put it that way. Copium poppies. Israel should wipe out the remainder of the Palestinians. That is the only way to end the conflict once and for all. They're already executing their own people in front of cheering crowds. Yeah, the whole area has problems, but here's the thing. If everybody in Israel and Palestine died, let's say that somebody waved a magic wand and they all just dropped dead, it still wouldn't bring peace to the region. I'm sorry to say, but it's cursed. Literally cursed. Like, literally cursed. There will never be peace in the Levant region. It's impossible. It's not happy, but we have to admit to the reality. Considering that we can go back 5,000 or 6,000 years and see a track record of nothing more than war and terror in the entire region, I think that that pretty much speaks for itself. Based Acid Fox, says the guy who talks to demons. Why do I know that the region is cursed? Ask yourself that, my friend. Trump administration withholds $40 million from California over trucker English proficiency rules. Yeah, there was another crash the other day, and some dude who quite clearly didn't habla inglés, ran over some people, and it became a big problem. But it turns out California doesn't really care if you can speak English. You're still allowed to actually drive a massive truck, like a 16-wheeler or something. I always thought that at the very least you had to be able to read the road signs. Apparently in California, this is not exactly the case, unfortunately. I know that it is in like Oklahoma and stuff. Here in Vermont, who knows? Who even cares? Nobody even knows that we exist. But with California, they designated their rules. They never actually created, apparently, an actual rule that said you had to be able to understand, like, what the mile per hour was going to be or something like that. You don't even need to know that. This is a big problem. And it points to a problem as well with regards to the 10th Amendment, which I support generally speaking. States generally should be able to make their own rules. But when those people are going across state borders and potentially endangering other people, that's a little bit different, dude. Like if somebody is going across the border from California to, let's say, Nevada or Arizona or something like that, New Mexico, and they don't even understand what the road signs are saying, I would assume that this is a problem. Apparently Gavin Newsom doesn't give a shit. He doesn't even care, which is why he won't be president of the United States. This is, by the way, the good news of the story is that Gavin Newsom is so absolutely fantastically terrible that I can't even imagine that the Democrats would nominate him at this point. Sigil, it's only unpeaceful when filled with Jews and Muslims. Romans and Christians managed it quite well. There were a few snafus there as well, though. You'll remember that Byzantium was actually attacked by the Templars at one point. Christians are not necessarily completely innocent with regards to this situation in the Levant and the surrounding regions. Of course, that's more Turkey, but the whole area, basically, one contiguous region. Copium poppies. I didn't say wiping everyone out, just the Palestinians, because they are violent savages, so much that even other Muslim countries don't want them. It's an entire population of terrorists. I don't believe that 12-year-old kids generally are given over to terrorism. I do realize that, unfortunately, there is a fairly ingrained violence inherent within that region, because there's been so much war and conflict there. It's like, what else is there to do? I've got a job. Great. I sell tomatoes or something like that. And they have nothing else to do. I feel sorry for everyone in the region. Actually, I feel sorry for most of the people in the entire world most of the time. Wasted bonehead, from the river to the sea, this skeleton will be free. Give the holy land to the skeletons. Yep, that appears to be pretty much what's actually happened, by the way. Attacking Turks is a bad thing? How? I don't have any problem with Turks. Have you seen those ice cream vendors there? And they have, like, all sorts of tricks that they do with the ice cream cones. And it's just fantastic. Just saying. No, I have no problem with Turkey or any other country, for that matter. I don't have an axe to grind with anyone. John Billy, what will happen? Oh, it went down. With this goddamn commie war we now have on our soil. Antifa will get crushed. And then they'll whine about it, probably. Yeah, Hell's Angels will romp them. Yeah, you get a couple dozen bikers over there. Let Antifa members knock over somebody's motorcycle and see what fucking happens. That would be pretty friggin' funny. Copium poppies. I've seen videos of their children in terrorist garb with AK-47s jabbering away in Arabic about killing Jews and such. They train them from a young age in school to want to kill Jews and Americans. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel frightened by Palestinians. I can understand why some of these people would be upset. It's the older people, it's the literal Hamas members that are indoctrinating the kids and saying, look, you're suffering, and here's the reason why. The Jew, basically. So you can't blame the kids because they're being indoctrinated to. The same is true, by the way, on the other side. Jewish children are told, these people over here fucking hate you. They really want to bomb you. Now, certainly, Hamas members absolutely do. But the average Palestinian kid just wants to kick a fucking soccer ball. So you've got this weird replicating series of problems where both sides are indoctrinating each successive generation into thinking that the other people, fucking hate them. Really, nobody has to have hate for anyone. It's like, yeah, I'm from the United States. Do I feel threatened by some Frenchman? No, not really. I don't. Did any Chinaman ever fuck me in the ass? No. And people will tell me that I'm wrong. Some people will say, no, the Jews are evil. Some people will say, no, the Palestinians are uniquely violent. And it'll just happen forever. At this point, it's a lost cause. Sigil, you can save the ice cream, Turks, but fire Turkish ammo and you'll hate them real fast. Didn't they have, if I remember correctly, with one of the earliest revolving swivel guns, a deck gun, that they developed, I think it was in the 1700s or even the 1600s, didn't they prescribe that they should use square ammo for Islamic individuals because they thought that it would, put them out of their misery faster or something? So you had the regular ammo for any Christian attacker on your ship, but then you had the square ammo for, I think they specifically listed the Moors, but I think Turks were implicated there as well, if I remember correctly. Can't remember the name of the weapon. It looks really cool. I think only 4 of them were ever made. Sigil. Bikers have always been cowardly little... I can't say that word. Their reputation is entirely unearned because they're filthy drug addicts that scared the white folk. No, I'd say that to a biker. That would be my advice. Disclaimer, that's not actually advice. Copium poppies. Those kids are going to grow up and remain indoctrinated and will blame Jews for their terrorist parents' deaths. This cycle continues because the factions continue existing. Yeah, there's generational fuckery going on over in that general region of the world. It doesn't matter, Jew, Muslim, even the Christians to an extent. It's generational, absolutely. I agree with you. Wasted bonehead. Peace out, clankers. I must go now. My cemetery needs me. He's got to go and rest. You're just being lazy. Getting back into the grave and stuff when you should be watching the live stream. What's wrong with you, dude? Take care, my man. Trump administration withholds $40 million from California over trucker English proficiency rules. Yeah, we're going to keep talking about this for a little bit. Because this needs more legal definition. Is it really acceptable for a state to issue driver's license, especially with trucks? Okay, maybe it's like a little Volvo or something like that. Yeah, I would just ignore it. But if you're driving an 18-wheeler or something like that, don't you think that being able to see the road signs would be a good idea? Apparently, in the state of California, they don't care. No habla English, senor. No. I have no clue what that fucking sign says. This is a little bit of a problem, yeah. But California doesn't see it as a problem, and Gavin Newsom certainly doesn't see it as a problem. Now, this is a dude who probably is going to try to run for the presidency. I'm just hoping that stupid mistakes like this catch up to him, and that in the end, that's what sinks him. Because he deserves to be sunk. I mean, he'd be better off running Kamala Harris, ironically. And that's going some. Just saying. Sigil, I would say that to a biker if there were any left young enough to hear either a hearing aid. And yes, I'm aware a swarm would show up like any other pack of feral dindoos. That's why I say strapped. Good on you. But at the same time, it's generally, it's polite not to antagonize the bikers. Gun crime cases fall as agents shift to immigration crackdown. I love this fucking story. Let me tell you exactly what they're doing here. Gun crime is now down in the United States. And it's not an insubstantial decline, by the way. Violent crime in general has been declining anyway over the last year. So what do? They say, no, it's not a result of any administrative agenda or anything like that. No, it's because the agents have shifted to immigration, therefore they're not going after gun dealers and things like that. Total goddamn fucking 100% unadulterated bullshit. The fact is that gun crime and violent crime in general are down in the United States, but they can't give Orange Man credit for it. They can't admit to the fact that his policies quite clearly, visibly, ostensibly are working. So instead they have to say, well, because they're not going after as many, criminals, because they're just going after the poor, helpless illegals that are in the country. But this is bullshit. In many cases, they're correlated. The gun crime rate, the violent crime rate is down because you've got 23,000 fucking U.S. troops on the street corners now. You've got tens of thousands of ICE agents on the street corner. So people are less likely to act out because they know, hey, we're actually going to get arrested this time. Unlike the other times, they detained me for like 24 hours and then, I didn't even need to sign in with the court or anything like that. They were let go of. Effectively, it was catch and release. Well, it's not catch and release anymore. No shit. They're going to weigh that because criminals tend to be sane actors. And here's the thing that you do. And everyone does it. You do it, I do it, everyone does it. Risk versus reward. Is the risk worth the payoff should I be successful? That's the only question that you have to answer. And every human being operates fundamentally in that capacity. So, if I think, hey, I might get caught, carjacking or something like that, but they're probably just going to release me the next day, so, I just won't show up for court. Well, then the risk is much less than the reward. If you're successful, you've stolen a car, you fence it, you get thousands of dollars, or it depends on the make and the model, I suppose. But in the end, the risk to yourself is virtually non-existent. Because even if you do get caught in the act, so you don't get the reward, what's the actual risk? You spend a night in jail, or something like that. Now, though, the risk is much, much higher. The risk is, hey, I'm going to spend months and months in detention and possibly never actually get out at all and might get booted back to Venezuela or something. The reward, meanwhile, is like, I made some money off a car. Maybe I think I should rethink this. So, risk versus reward really is the name of the game for all crime. It's also the name of the game for war and things like that. They are fundamentally the same thing. Most people have never woken up to this fact. Cooking Inferno. You were talking about the Sloppy Joe yesterday. Have you ever heard of the Castle Grayskull? No, I haven't. Actually. The first meal that I ever cooked was Sloppy Joe's. And they came out pretty good because I made my own sauce. Copium poppies. Yes, it's generational, which is why the problem faction needs to be eliminated. Otherwise, the next generation will continue firing rockets and such. Wiping out the Palestinians would save lives long term. I don't want to wipe out a bunch of Palestinian children. I have to disagree with you on that one. I don't want to wipe out anyone. I just wish people could fucking get along. What we should do is we should have a worldwide fight club, right? And so people can beat the shit out of each other, get their aggression out, and then hopefully not kill each other. I don't know. I think it'd be fun. Watched Fight Club the other night. Spike States that give CDLs to illegals should be subjected to civil lawsuits, especially if the driver wrecks and kills someone. Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for the day when somebody who is illegally in the United States with a CDL from California wipes out on the road here in Vermont, causing a pileup, and then wondering what the fuck happened. And it will happen. It's only a matter of time. But I mean, that's California, so it's par for the course, I suppose. One tall order, Sticks. I know you're not a big rap guy, but listen to I Hope by Jay Lewis, or at least look up the lyrics. It's hilarious. You know, I really like Dax, actually. Dax is really good, and I like Immortal Technique. There are a lot of rap figures that I actually do like. Skippy, feeling lucky? There was a 1/4 chance being Indian. India's pretty cool. I want to visit it someday, actually. Sigilstone Sticks! There's ICE agents on my street corner. When you stop at the light, they come up and say, $5, no deport you. $5, big boy. This probably does happen at certain times. Yeah, I like India. I really like Indian food, let me put it that way. Cooking Inferno, the Castle Grayskull. When you are getting head from a widow and pull out to blast her face, you then toss her dead husband's ashes on her face so they stick. I like that one. We're some fucked up motherfuckers on this channel. Just saying. Yeah, so gun crime has fallen, and apparently the only reason for that is because gun crimes aren't being pursued because the ATF is too busy with immigration. This is total goddamn bullshit. There's no way that you're going to convince me of this. They've got enough agents. Half of them weren't even doing anything. They're just sitting in the goddamn office and shit. So if you deploy more agents, you'd think you'd find more gun crime. It doesn't appear to have actually happened. That's very, very interesting. Very intriguing. Not a huge surprise, but at the same time, very, very funny. Put 20 or 30 more thousand of them out there and see what happens to the crime rate. That's exactly what I would recommend. I support Donald Trump in his deployment. Overall, it has been positive. Yes, there are going to be instances where someone gets profiled, and then this does happen. We do have to admit that too. Someone gets profiled, they get dragged in, they're detained temporarily. They can prove that they're a citizen, but really they shouldn't have been detained in the first place because you should have the right to be left alone. Understanding that, though, the positives, in my opinion, outweigh the negatives. Because for every one person that's getting profiled and or just detained, there's going to be 10 more people. They weren't profiled. They deserve to be detained. And they need to get kicked out of the country. You know? Some people call this racist. I call it common sense myself. Sigilstone, you see Brandon Herrera's new video about forced reset triggers? Fully legal machine guns. Unfortunately, you've done hard time, so not for you. You'd be surprised at what you can access. One tall order. Sometimes when I'm bored, I dip my 2-year-old son in tar, and he screams loud as fuck. All right. I'm hoping that that's a joke. As for you, Sigil, no, you can... Believe it or not, you can get all sorts of insane weapons. You don't even need an ID for most of them. The ATF has no clue what it's doing. So yeah, we got some pro-Hamas messages that were put in the airports, actually. Videos posted by passengers on social media show the unauthorized recordings played at Harrisburg International in Pennsylvania and Kelowna International in British Columbia in Canada. The pro-Hamas recordings and messages praise Hamas and using expletives are critical of the Trump administration and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. By the way, I'm certain that they're going to blame this on a Trump fan. A Trump fan breaches the airline system in order to criticize Donald Trump. The come as the air travel industry has been dealing with an onslaught of cyber attacks that have caused disruptions for customers and ground some of the world's largest airports to a halt. This happened to Delta, I think, last month. In June, a notorious cyber criminal group breached the computer networks of multiple airlines in the US and Canada, according to the FBI. And last month, hackers knocked out a passenger check-in system, causing long delays, cancellations, and chaos at airports across Europe. On a normal day, the airports are fucking chaotic. There was one time, by the way, that I flew, and I love this. It was the best flight that I've had in my life. I was flying K class on Delta KLM, right? And so this is special class, so it's not first class, but it's close enough. Nobody cares. And I figured I would treat myself, right? And it was during the lockdowns. There was nobody else in the friggin' cabin. There were like 4 people in the friggin' cabin. And so we had our own stewardess literally all to ourselves. There's only fucking 4, maybe 5 people in the friggin' cabin. It was one of the best days of my life. You know, all the drinks were on tap, let's put it that way. And they had, you know, literally everything. Those little cheese snacks that they have, which actually are really, really good. Yeah, you could have as many as you wanted because, you know, there was nobody in the cabin. That was a very fun day. Just saying. Inland Surfer, here in Connecticut since February of 24, we are now DMV mandated to have a certified instructor sign off a comprehension aspect depending on the CDL student's performance. We used to teach ourselves. Yeah, these days more and more people don't know how to speak English, it seems. So yeah, it's pretty shitty. Spike, the chat log for your channel makes the leaked young Republicans look very tame and weak in comparison. Yeah, fuck these people. I loved the young Republican story. Dude, actually from Vermont, Samuel Douglas, I believe his name was saying some weird shit in chat, but this was years ago, and nobody really cares. They're just pretending that they care, more than anything. One tall order. Hamas propaganda over the loudspeaker. Be a man. Play gay black thug hunter porn audio. Gay black thug hunter porn. You mean like if Hunter Biden were black? I mean, he probably is. I don't think that he's gay. I think that he doesn't really care. He's like, everyone's got an asshole. Sigil, you said the N-word, and I can't repeat that on YouTube. I'm so sorry. Inland Surfer, the TDS kicked in, and everyone in the yard was blaming Trump. I was thinking to myself, hasn't old Joe been president since 2020? I gotta ignore a lot. Yeah, I don't even understand that. It's like something went wrong in 2021, but somehow Trump is responsible? It never really made sense. And never will, by the way. These people are not mentally normal. Let's see. I see you, Acid Fox. Pilgrim Media, good work, Sticks. Thank you. You're fiery but mostly peaceful weenie dog. Mexico here. When is the U.S. stepping here? Because clearly the government is in bed with the narcos and probably working with Maduro. Yeah, I think the CIA has been weaponized against the Venezuelan regime. I'll have to talk about that separately because I'm of 2 minds with regards to that. I do not like nation building. I do not like influencing other nations and using taxpayer money to get involved. But at the same time, big butt, man. There's also the issue of the literal narco-terrorism. And Trump is not being hyperbolic when he brings up that term. So I'll do that as a one-off video, I think, in the morning, actually. Pilgrim Media, I want to Minecraft, call me for my mommy. Sounds like a good idea to me. You wouldn't see me crying. Jada79, weed is good. Socialists aren't people. Yeah, weed is perfectly fine. It's also a cash crop. Socialists are people. They're just very troubled people. One tall order. Wait, just a sec. Wait, Sticks, you go on 4chan and don't know about the Thug Hunter memes? Oh, you sweet summer child. Dude, I've been on 4chan since 2008, but I haven't seen that particular meme. I'm too busy posting about Indy 6's logs. King of Biltong, progress. We should be reopening our store at new premises in Sunset, Texas next week. That's what I'm talking about. Freedom, imported groceries in Biltong at www.biltongusa.com. Use code STICKS for 10% off Biltong. Congratulations to you. Delicious. It's funny, Vegemite's a little bit more salty. The actual Bovrite is more on the beefy side. That's what I used in the stir fry the other night. By the way, thank you very much, Anton, because the Bovrite is perfect for a stir fry. Sigil, friend of mine in Venezuela, said U.S. bombers are flying sorties off the coast of Venezuela. She was hoping for Maduro to be bombed. Yeah, they're keeping outside of the territorial waters. It could cause a problem, though. Ah, lemon curd. How's my favorite news, hippie? Very well, actually. I was eating some of Anton's apricot jam earlier with the little sword that you gave me. I didn't have a spoon, so I had to jury-rig it. I have a fun time. You may have noticed. Yeah, Vulcus. I want to lick up the butterscotch dribbling from Styx's unwashed ass crack after he's been outside in his opioid garden during a hot summer day. Okie dokie then. Want some marijuana cookies? Just give me a moment. The funny part is, the greatest part is that I never know whether people are being serious or not when they say such things. I do not have an opioid garden, to be clear. I have a bunch of root crops out there, but the garden got a little bit messed up. I gotta rehab it and stuff like that. Let's see. Sigil had to let her down with "You don't know our bombers are there until shit starts exploding." True. One tall order. Sticks, remember the airman who posted the leaked Ukraine war documents back in 2023 or whatever that was? The Discord server was called Thug Shaker Central. Yeah, I don't use Discord, so I didn't know. Copium poppies. Why do pro-Palestine people always put emphasis on the children in Palestine as if they are specifically being targeted? It's just a cheap way to shut down the conversation. Yeah, I don't want Palestinian or Israeli children to be targeted. The kids, leave them alone. Let them play and stuff. Reminds me tragically of that song by Peter Gabriel, Games Without Frontiers. You may have heard it. If you haven't, you should look it up. It's very, very sad. To think of being a child without a childhood, yeah, that hits a little bit differently, just saying. Because then I think about my childhood and it's like, okay, yeah, back in the 90s in small town America, that was pretty great. Go to the library, go and get some candy, play with some Snap Pops, go and check out the river and see what crayfish you can find and stuff like that. So I acknowledge, even though I was raised relatively poor, I still had technically a privileged childhood. Absolutely. I had great parents and everything was fine. Now everything's all war and terrible things. I don't think I'm going to get to that story, but I want to get to this one. These ancient bumblebees were found with their pollen source. Believe it or not, they have found bumblebee fossils. These are a long time ago. These are literally fossilized. I think they were 24 million years ago. And they were found with linden pollen. And I'm wondering if any of you have ever seen what happens when the linden blossoms drop and the bees get into it. It drives them insane. In fact, it kills many of them. They love it. It's for some reason it's intoxicating to them. And so you'll see like a bee burrowing around in this pollinated remnant, basically, with a bunch of flowers and stuff like that. It'll literally drive itself to death. And linden, yeah. No, not linden. Linden. Lindен. For Doug there. Yeah, it's a linden tree. And I had never even seen one. I don't even know if they grow in this climate, I suppose. I'm not 100% sure. But they grow in the Netherlands a lot. And so they drop all of the pollinated matter, the flowers and everything else. And then the bees, they'll burrow into them and they will drive themselves insane. And they'll slowly die because they literally don't want to do anything else. They're just getting high off of the linden, I suppose. It's very, very interesting. So the fact that you've got a fossil from 24 million years ago that shows, the fact that the bees were already attracted to the linden back then is rather interesting. I like this science news because, number one, it's a break from politics, and number two, this is really the thing that I'm most fascinated in anyway. So it turns out that bees were actually killing themselves with linden over 20 million years ago. You'd think that they would have evolved out of that by now, but apparently they didn't get the memo. Sigil, instead of using genetic engineering for stupid shit like making new breeds of dog and emu, hey, don't fuck with emu. Ask the Australians about that one. Make giant bumblebees. We can ride to work. That'd be fucking sweet. Giant bumblebees sound fun. In fact, that's really odd because I actually had a dream about that sort of thing, like the other day. I dreamed that there was like a huge ass bumblebee. It was about this big around. And for some reason I was taking like the bumblebee and I was like buzzing it around at people, if that makes sense. Happens all the time. So yes, we've got ancient bumblebees. They liked linden too. And linden does smell really good, just saying. Let's see. Bobby Bobbinson, Styx was a trust fund kid. No, I was a very poor kid, actually. You should have stuck the bumblebee up your pirate booty hole. Bobby is such a nice person now, isn't he? And said, "Yarr." Oh, sorry, King of Biltong. Oh, wait, no, I didn't miss your rant. Sith did. I think. If I missed your rant, my apologies. No, I got to that one. You're talking to Sith, man. The Dead Knight Tiger, Lyndon B. Johnson. Oh, God. Ronnie, 'tis an underground Mormon communist, something to do with bees thing. I remember back in the day, you know how Mormons make like Mormon tea with ephedrine? And they used to be available on eBay, actually. I was thinking about getting some, actually, but that was many, many years ago. This is back in the late 2000s. Thought about getting some. Didn't really, didn't work out because I didn't have the money at the time. Sigil, a huge-ass bumblebee, all caked up. A real thick dump truck. You're now thinking of a bumblebee with a huge human ass on it. Be funny if you took a giant bumblebee and you coated it in, like, cake batter or something like that. Bobby, Crispy, this is a normal news day. Absolutely, my man. If I ever start taking life too seriously, please just fucking end my life. now Bobby's saying he's jacking off to it. Anyways, I'm going to go offline. I do have a lot of other work to do today. Not all of which is, cybernetic, so to speak. I've got to go out a couple of times. And also, I should probably eat at some point. But I will be back tomorrow. It is Friday. Keep in mind, at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, I will also be live with Sleazy P. Martini. I'm going on Slaughterama, actually. I'm going to do the trivia show, I believe it is. And so people can comment in and ask whatever questions you want. And I'll be going on with Sleazy, whose hair, by the way, believe it or not, and you're probably not going to believe it, actually is real. Believe it or not, his hair, that's actually his hair. I've seen it because we were, off of live stream. Interesting fellow. Also loves his crack. He never sold to Hunter Biden, though, because Hunter's too broke to fucking buy that shit. Benjamin the Dream Wizard. We should talk about your dreams. DM Wizard Benjamin on X. Thanks again for your unboxing video featuring my book of historical dream literature. Hope you enjoyed them. Book 18 is out now. I did, very much so. Yeah, send me a DM on Twitter if you would like, and I'll try to get back to you, but today... this afternoon, I am going to be extremely busy. Tomorrow, other than the sleazy stream, a little bit less so. Other than, that and the live stream. And so we'll do what we can. That's what I'm talking about. Based Acid Fox. It's a lot of pomade on that thing. Yeah, at this point, it's like probably bulletproof or something like that. Sleazy is a crazy guy. I like talking to him. Can't wait to get on Slaughterama, let me tell it that way. But yeah, I'm going to, Bobby, you are correct. Primus does suck. I agree with you completely, 100%. I never understood Primus. It's like, basically, Megadeth 2.0. Not even that good. Based Acid Fox, you are also correct. The Red Hot Chili Peppers do suck. Fuck the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They get what? 2 good songs? Yeah. Real wonderful. Copium Poppies. Sticks, you aren't being realistic in regards to Israel and Palestine. You want no war all you want. I want no war. But the Palestinians disagree. That's why they keep behaving violently. Again, though, a lot of those people are nothing more than civilians. They're not combatants. We have to keep that in mind. Skippy, is Bobby your worst friend or best enemy? I would say best enemy. We're frenemies of a sort, I suppose. We entertain one another, but sometimes we disagree. Anyways, I am going to go offline now because I do have several things that I have to do. So I will be back tomorrow. We can talk about Primus tomorrow as well. Metallica. Metallica's good. Yes, I like Metallica. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. I talk about Ozzy and how much we fucking love Ozzy Osbourne. Lemon Curd, hey Sticks, see you tomorrow. That's what I'm talking about, my man. And I'll bring that little sword in also that I was using to scoop up the apricot. And yeah, we'll have some fun. Uriah Heep is good. Certified good. That's about all. Peace out.